So on the subject of New York City, this incredible assassination that happened on Wednesday is everywhere. I'm sure my audience has heard about this. The CEO of UnitedHealthcare, which, millions of Americans have as their healthcare system, insurer, was walking to a conference on Wednesday morning, very early in the morning, at 6:40 a.m., from one hotel to the other, from his hotel where he was staying over to the neighboring hotel. And there was an assassin lying in wait with a gun that had a silencer on it. He'd been following him and came out, shot him twice, one in the back and one in the leg. Oh, it's so awful. He falls, he stumbles. My God, he had no chance. And then walks around to finish the job. And the police are still on a manhunt for the assassin. They figured out that he stayed at a hostel, that he wore the mask almost the entire time he was at the hostel. He took it down only for a brief moment when a girl with whom he was flirting asked him to. And he's on camera smiling. And we should show the picture, a pretty extraordinary photo, looking at him seeming kind of happy. And, this is not long before he committed a murder. And then he got on one of those, it wasn't a city bike, but it was one of those bikes that you can get in New York, and took off into Central Park. And now they're wondering whether he dumped the outfit he was wearing in Central Park, because they seem to have lost him someplace in Central Park, and they haven't found him since. Now there's a lot of speculation about, is this a professional hit? Did somebody put this guy up to it? He had written something on the bullet. I don't have it in front of me. It was like destroy, depose. Can't remember the third D.
It was like deny, depose, delay. I think it echoed this book that was written in 2010, which is basically like
deny, defend, depose.
Okay, there you go.
Depose. And that may relate to something that's been said in insurance circles about claims. And so there's a debate about whether this is an assassination like, the Russians, something that professional. Many think no, because his cell phone, which is a burner phone, was left at the scene. And there was some sloppiness around the crime. But on the other hand, he got away. He used a silencer. He was very familiar with the gun because it jammed, and he was able to recover immediately. And now you have ghouls like Taylor Lorenz, who wrote for the New York Times and the Washington Post about 2 minutes ago, until she was recently fired for saying something negative about Joe Biden that they couldn't. She tried to deny she did, and it was obvious she did it. Can't remember what it was. It was about the Israel-Palestinian conflict. That he's a war criminal, I think it was. Anyway, she got fired. Now she's writing a Substack celebrating this. So I'm glad he's dead. And then after people are like, you sound like a disgusting ghoul. Well, I'm not calling for his murder, but it's a good thing he's dead. And other insurance representatives should be dead too.
Yeah, she's sick. She'll say anything for clicks, anything. So it's nice to see her circling the drain to her inevitable, complete irrelevance. It's interesting. So are you guys watching Day of the Jackal?
No.
You should. It's amazing.
What's it on?
It's on Paramount Plus or Peacock. It's on Peacock.
Day of the Jackal.
It's a remake of a 73 film. Eddie Redmayne it's like incredibly stylish, and he plays this really stylish assassin. And the first 20 minutes, he's a sniper. Like, it's incredible. Anyway, this reminds me of that. And I'm seeing much of the same reaction online, which, social media is a cesspool. It is also our id. And people are talking about like the hot assassin. And it's like,
it's crazy.
They took him down. Like it had to be done. Like the healthcare industry, they're such vultures. And I think the reaction to this is really telling us a lot. And this sort of circles back to the whole RFK Jr. thing. People are sick of their life and death decisions being made by faceless bureaucrats or paper pushers in offices. You try to get somebody on the line at one of these companies.
Oh, forget it.
You can't. So unless you're a 1%er who's up in like the Beyonce suite, you are at the mercy of some guy who's going to tell you it costs them 10 cents less for you to travel 2 hours more to go see a doctor you don't even like, to get denied medication you might really need. This is sort of the larger thing that's happening. I mean, I think it's terrible what happened to this guy. I can't believe he didn't have security. I can't believe his schedule was made that public. He had death threats against him. All of these health companies are taking down the images of their executives in the wake of this.
Good call. I mean, it's a very dicey job. There are, to at least issues here. Nobody condones what happened to this poor man. It's horrifying. And Taylor Lorenz is a nut. But it is leading people to speak out about what's happening in the insurance industry. I mean, my own take on it is now's not the time. We should get to that.
Right.
We should still focus first on this assassination, how it happened, like how the guy got away so quickly. I can't believe the NYPD hasn't tracked him down yet. When I saw that there was a picture of him and that they had cell phone with at least a smudged fingerprint, and possibly something else that he had, like a water bottle that might have DNA. I thought they'd have him in 2 minutes, Maureen.
I know.
But life doesn't work like CSI does, and they have not found him yet. I mean, the guy could be in Colombia right now.
I know.
We have no idea. So that's one. And then the second, complaints about insurance. I mean, I have to say, crazy Taylor Lorenz was bitching about when, in like her nastiest tweet, she was complaining about Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, with a new policy that would have limited coverage of anesthesia based on time limits. So like I used to be married to an anesthesiologist,
really?
and like a lung transplant, a liver transplant can last 18 hours. So like, what if they only cover you for 8? You got to pay out of pocket for the last 10, even though that's how long your surgery takes, 18 hours. Like, sorry, it didn't go faster. And so that's terrible, but this is not the time for her to be painting these guys as ghouls. But the interesting thing is NBC reporting that Blue Cross Blue Shield is not going to proceed with that policy change. It reversed course on December 5th. After it had been announced, it led to outrage across social media from average users to government officials. I mean, the killing of CEO Brian Thompson is deeply disturbing. It says a lot about who we are, where we are, and I wonder if it says something about New York, because it's starting to feel like the Wild West out there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that was the thing I thought. Like, you must know that, Hilton. That's up the street from your old workplace.
Yeah, couple blocks.
We used to have Christmas parties there, like broad daylight, 6:45 a.m. The gunman was seen milling around, just letting other people walk right past him. He was just waiting for his target. There are surveillance cameras everywhere. I can't believe an execution like this took place on the streets of New York City.
And no one saw him. There was no police officer nearby. Like, how did they not get him? There's not a lot of crime at that hour of the day. It would seem like any police officer in the region would have gotten to him, toot sweet, but he got away. And I don't know now whether they will get him, because partial smudged finger, print is not really that persuasive. What we've seen today is they found out that the weapon that was used in the shooting was purchased in Connecticut. That, yes, indeed, they found a water bottle. That's where the fingerprint was lifted but smudged. The burner phone has been retrieved. It could yield fingerprints and possibly even communications, though we don't know whether it has so far. For surveillance video shows the suspect leaving the 57th Street F train station before the shooting, approximately 6:15 a.m., 30 minutes before the shooting. Extensive video canvas led police to the area of a hostel where he was staying. He almost never lowered his mask or his hood. They're looking into whether his getaway bike was pre-positioned, which could be caught on video if it was. There is video, they believe, according to CNN, of the suspect on the Upper West Side carrying what appears to be an electronic bicycle battery. Wall Street Journal reporting that Brian Thompson was one of 3 United executives named in a lawsuit from a Florida pension in May, accusing United of hiding a DOJ antitrust investigation into United from shareholders while insiders like Brian sold stock. In other words, we got left holding the bag on our stock, investments, and you didn't, including $15 million in Thompson's personally held shares. He and his wife Paulette had been living in separate homes a mile apart from one another in Maple Grove, Minnesota for several years. They had 2 sons. Sounds like they were separated, but somewhat possibly amicable. She told NBC News, I can't talk about this right now. I'm trying to deal with my sons, with my children. The police departments in Maple Grove, again, this is per the Wall Street Journal, say they had received no complaints about threats to Thompson, though Paulette said to NBC he had received something about denial of coverage. And the piece of it, like the celebration, we're just so ghoulish.
I know.
This is Taylor Lorenz trying to rehabilitate herself. So she had tweeted out after his murder that Blue Cross Blue Shield article, and she wrote, "And people wonder why we want these executives dead." Now that's disgusting, and she's sick. She's a sick person who we should not be listening to. But this is her defending herself. So I'll counteract my own mandate not to listen to her. But she is pointing out something, that a Facebook post about the CEO's passing was met with over 23,000 laughing emojis before it was taken down. People were thirsting after the assassin online. Quote, "Every woman I know is down catastrophic for the UnitedHealthcare CEO assassin," wrote one X user. I'm so disgusted by that, the lack of humanity. She makes it so that I can't really discuss her Blue Shield argument. I just really want to run from this disgusting person who has no empathy for a dead man's grieving children.
I know. The idea that anyone could just so easily be targeted this way. And the lack of humanity is what's striking. But I think you're right. I think that the swiftness, it's partly social media, which just sort of allows people to anonymously voice their darkest impulses and thoughts. And on the other hand, the lack of daylight between shock and outrage and grief that a father of two could be slain like this and the perpetrator could get away so easily. There's no daylight between that and they had it coming. You can only push people too far. You push them too far. See what Blue Cross did? They backed off. Why do you think they backed off? Not because they give a shit about their clients. They did it because they're afraid for themselves, and I'm dying to know the motive. I'm dying to know the motive. So you said, okay, the gun was purchased in Connecticut. That's a good looking guy. That's a guy who looks like he probably comes from a little bit of money. He's probably ex-military. He knew exactly what to do and how to do it. I wonder if he's American. I wonder if he got out of the country within hours, or how quickly NYPD was able to get facial recognition up at all the ports, all the airports, all the throughways.
They know who he is. They should know who he is. We had an author who wrote a really interesting book. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. My team will remind me. But she came on to talk about that AI facial recognition technology and how the police officers are using it. The police stations and departments across the country are already using it. We were talking about it from a creepy perspective, where you can get it to the point where you put on glasses, you and I go into a bar and I've got these glasses on and I can see that guy over there is Joe Schmiss. Kashmir Hill was the name of the author. I can see Your Face Belongs to Us was the name of her book. Ooh. Your Face Belongs to Us. And I can see that's Joe Smith right there. And this is where he lives. And all the information is coming from my glasses that have facial recognition technology. So there's no question they ran those images through what they have. And by the way, when you run it through the police department's, technology, it gives you so many pictures of the person. She was writing about how it pulled her from when she was much younger and in the background in somebody else's family Facebook post,
Oh my God.
It's insanely good. And so it's just, as soon as I saw the maskless photo, I was like, he's toast. They're going to have this guy in 2 minutes. They certainly should have an identity, and maybe they do, and they're just not, telling us yet. Steve, tell me what episode that was, because people might want to go back and listen to that now. I do believe they're going to catch him. I just think we're not CSI, but we're pretty good. We've come leaps and bounds from where we were back in the Joe Friday days of law enforcement. So fingers crossed they catch this guy. Very, very disturbing stuff. Okay. Oh, it's episode 696. You know how much my family and I love our dogs, right? Even Strudwick. Cannot imagine life without them. Usually don't imagine life without them. They have a great life, but some dogs are not so lucky. This is why I'm super glad to tell you about Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They have rescued thousands of dogs, plus cats and horses too. And they provide all the animals with shelter, safety, and most of all, love. They've been doing it now for more than 45 years. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions to stay open, and giving can bring tax benefits to you too. Speak with your estate planner about how you can grow your estate while helping animals in need. And check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more. We love our Thunder and Strudwick, but would like other dogs who need love to find it too. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.